The patrol ship Varex 12 moved through the quiet edge of Sector 9, far from trade routes, far from colonies, far from anything normal. The crew expected a boring shift, only checking asteroids and old beacons. No one expected fear today. No one expected a discovery that would shake the entire galaxy. But sometimes history changes without warning, and for the aliens aboard Varex 12, everything began with a strange sound from the sensors. The young scanner officer, a thin blue-skinned Threelan named Juro, looked at his screen with confusion. His eyes narrowed. The signal was too large, too heavy, too slow. It did not match any known ship in their system. He checked again, hoping it was an error, but the signal only grew stronger. Something huge was moving through the dark. Something that ignored every known law of travel. Juro stood up so fast his chair fell back. "Captain, you need to see this." Captain Relsa, a tall insectoid with dark silver armor plates, walked to the console. He expected a malfunction. But when he saw the size of the object on the screen, his wings twitched in fear. The object was not traveling fast. It did not need speed. Its mass alone pushed small asteroids out of its path like dust floating in the wind. No empire built ships this large. No species dared to. The captain tapped the console. "Identify." The system scanned. It scanned again. It showed one short answer each time. Unknown. This word instantly cooled the air inside the ship. Unknown meant dangerous. Unknown meant new technology. Unknown meant war. The ship's second officer, a reptilian Sarek, hissed quietly. "Is it a rogue station? Maybe a drifting megastructure." "Stations do not move," the captain replied. "And megastructures do not travel at the speed of a battleship." The lights dimmed for a second as the object's gravity pulled at the patrol ship systems. Even from far away, its mass was powerful. Space itself seemed to bend around it. Juro swallowed hard. "Captain, should we leave?" "No," Relsa said firmly, though fear shook his voice. "We must make visual contact." The order was dangerous. Everyone knew it. But protocol demanded it. If this was a new empire or a weapon, the Galactic Council needed proof. So they moved closer, inch by inch, while alarms whispered warnings. The silent giant finally slid into view. At first it looked like a shadow. A moving darkness. Its shape was sharp like a blade, smooth like armor, and impossibly long, so long it did not fit on the screen. The ship kept zooming out, but the object still stretched beyond the frame. The alien crew stared at it without speaking. The warship had no color. It absorbed light. It looked like it had survived 1,000 battles. Deep cracks lined its hull, but none were natural. These were scars from weapons the aliens did not recognize. It felt ancient yet new, quiet yet deadly. Juro whispered, "What kind of monster builds something like this?" Then the patrol ship's camera caught the first clear symbol on the giant ship's hull. A bold mark. Sharp. Human writing. The crew leaned closer, confused. None of them expected the word to be so simple, so clean, so unsettling. It said, "Humanity." For a full 10 seconds, nobody spoke. Every alien froze as if the cold of space had entered the room. Humanity was a small race. Quiet. Not part of major politics. They were known for curiosity, not for war. Their ships were small. Their colonies were peaceful. Their weapons were outdated. So why did this ship exist? Why was it bigger than any known warship in the galaxy? Why had the humans built something that looked like a floating apocalypse? The second officer finally broke the silence. "This cannot be human. Humans do not build Titan-class ships. They cannot. Their technology is backward." The captain almost growled, something his species rarely did. "Scan again." They scanned. The answer returned instantly. Origin: human space. Classification: unknown. Size: beyond maximum scale range. Juro whispered, "Captain, this is not possible." But the scariest detail came next. The patrol ship detected no life signs aboard the Titan warship. None. Zero. Not even a single human heartbeat. How could a ship of that size be empty? Why was it moving without crew? The engines glowed with a dark energy the aliens had never seen before. The captain touched his communicator. His voice shook as he prepared an urgent message for the Galactic Council. "This is Verex, 12. We have encountered an unidentified Titan-class ship. Markings identify it as human. I repeat, the vessel is of human origin. We recommend." Before he could finish, the giant ship changed course. It turned toward them. Every alarm screamed at once. The engines of Verex, 12 roared as the captain pulled back the controls. "Move. Move now." The patrol ship tried to escape, but the Titan warship did not chase. It simply aligned its massive hull so its front faced them. A giant eye watching a tiny insect. A predator studying something too small to be worth eating. And for the first time, the aliens felt a sharp truth. This ship could destroy them with a single strike, yet it did not. The Titan ship sent a signal. One short message. No emotion. Only cold warning. "Do not approach." The message repeated. "Do not approach." The aliens stared at each other. Humanity had never spoken like this. Never threatened. Never warned others away from anything. Something was wrong. Something huge. And as the Titan warship drifted silently into the dark, the crew felt the same chilling question rise in their minds. If humans built this, what were they preparing for? The emergency message from the patrol ship Verex, 12 reached the Galactic Council 40 minutes later. At first, the message was ignored. Council members received strange reports all the time. Pirates, debris fields, false alarms, overreacting patrol officers. But when the message repeated 5 times, flagged as extreme threat, the council finally opened it. The council chamber was a huge circular hall filled with delegates from more than 30 species. They were in the middle of discussing trade taxes when the alert interrupted the session. Many were annoyed. Few expected anything important. But the screen in the center of the room flickered, and the video recording from Verex, 12 appeared. The image of the Titan-class warship slowly rotated on the holoscreen. For a moment, no one reacted. They thought it was a glitch, a magnified picture, maybe even a mistake from the patrol crew. Then the scale markers appeared on the side of the image, showing the ship's exact size. Several delegates stood up in shock. This was no normal ship. It was larger than most orbital stations. Its shadow stretched across half a moon. The council room grew cold with silence. The footage zoomed in, and the hull markings came into view. The simple word, written in bold human letters, made the room freeze even more than the ship's size. Humanity. A wave of confusion spread through the chamber. Delegates whispered to each other, asking the same question again and again. Humans? How is this possible? Nobody had seen humans make anything impressive for centuries. Their technology was average. Their ships were small. Their influence was low. Humans were considered harmless neighbors, nothing more. The council chair, an old Tavan named Orlek, raised a trembling hand. Pause the recording. The image froze, the Titan warship drifting like a sleeping giant. Orlek looked around the room. Does anyone know of any human project that could create a vessel of this magnitude? Nobody answered. Finally, a representative from the insect-like Cretal cleared their throat. Humans have not attended council meetings for 287 years. Another delegate replied, they shut their borders after the Orion Treaty. Closed all communications. We assumed they wished to stay isolated. A soft voice from the back spoke next. We assumed wrong. Orlek nodded slowly. Open the human database. A clerk activated a long database entry. It was disappointingly short. It showed the same information everyone already knew. Humans were once active explorers. Then something changed. They suddenly stopped expansion, ended trade routes, stopped sending diplomats, and focused only on their own systems. The Council never worried. Humans were not a threat. They had no advanced fleets, no large armies, no strong allies. Many species believed humans were simply tired of galactic politics. Others believed humanity was slowly dying, losing population, losing influence, fading into the quiet corners of space. But the ship on the screen painted a very different picture. A warrior species in decline did not build titans. The second part of the Varex 12 report began to play. The alien crew's voices sounded shaky, their fear clear in every sentence. The video showed how the Titan warship turned toward them, how every alarm on their ship activated at once, and how the object moved with unnatural smoothness. Then the single message echoed through the council chamber. "Do not approach." The message repeated, louder. "Do not approach." The council hall fell into absolute silence after the recording ended. Delegates looked at each other with wide eyes. For the first time in centuries, the word humanity made them uneasy. A large reptilian delegate slammed his fist on his desk. "This is a threat. Humans are preparing for war." Another delegate shook her head. "Do not be foolish. Humans have never started a war." "But they have never built something like this," someone shouted. A soft, tired voice answered, "Maybe they built it because they had to." Every delegate turned toward the speaker, an elderly scholar from the thin-furred Felran species. She stood slowly, leaning on a metal cane. "I have studied human history longer than most here have lived. Humans do not prepare for conquest. They prepare for danger. They prepare for survival." The reptilian delegate hissed, "Are you suggesting humans built a Titan ship because they are afraid?" "No," the scholar replied. "I am suggesting they built it because they know something we do not." This thought spread across the room like cold smoke. If the humans built a Titan-class warship in secret, over centuries, without anyone noticing, then they were hiding something far worse than their ship. They were hiding knowledge. Orlek finally spoke again. "We need to communicate with the humans. Immediately." A council guard stepped forward nervously. "Sir, we cannot. Human space rejects all incoming channels. Their border sensors shut down every signal we send." A wave of frustrated murmurs filled the chamber. Then the guard added something even more unsettling. "And there is more, Chairman. Our long-range telescopes just detected movement near human outer territory. Very large movement." The room went silent. "What kind of movement?" Orlek asked slowly. The guard swallowed. "Unknown. But not human. Something else is coming near their borders, and the humans do not seem alarmed by us. Only by that." Everyone turned toward the frozen image of the Titan warship still hovering on the screen. Its dark hull seemed to stare back at them. The council realized something terrifying. The humans were not preparing to attack the galaxy. They were preparing to defend it. And whatever they were preparing for was nearly here. The Galactic Council chamber stayed silent long after the recording ended. Delegates whispered, argued, and stared at the frozen image of the Titan warship, trying to understand how humans, quiet, distant humans, could create something so terrifying. The mystery only grew heavier as more data arrived from deep scanners. Every new report added another dark piece to a puzzle no one knew existed. Down in the Council's intelligence center, a group of analysts worked fast. They opened every archive, every ancient file, every forgotten record related to humanity. They searched for clues, for patterns, for anything that could explain why humans would build a Titan-class warship in secret. But the more they searched, the stranger the story became. A young analyst named Tavin, a quick-thinking reptilian, found something unusual first. He called for the head intelligence officer, Director Ryla. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a timeline. Human activity in the galaxy stopped almost completely around the same period, roughly 300 years ago. No ambassadors. No trade routes. No new colonies. No new research stations. It was as if the humans had folded inward, choosing silence instead of communication. Director Ryla frowned. Did anyone ever ask why? Tavin shook his head. Why would we? Humans were small players. Their silence was not a threat. Ryla stared at the timeline longer. Maybe it was not a threat to us. But maybe something was a threat to them. More analysts joined the search. Soon, they began pulling up old logs from border stations that once monitored human space. Some of the logs were corrupted. Others had strange gaps, years missing, entries deleted, cameras permanently offline. At the time, no one cared. Now those gaps felt like warning lights. A pattern slowly appeared. A chilling one. The humans had closed their borders right after a strange event near the edge of their territory, an event the Council never fully investigated. A large, unidentified object had entered human space. It did not match any known species. It gave off a powerful energy signature. Then, just as quickly, it disappeared. After that, humanity vanished from the galactic stage. Director Ryla whispered. What did they see out there? The question echoed across the room. One analyst suggested looking deeper into human science logs, especially the old ones humans shared before their isolation. When those files opened, the room fell quiet again. Humans had been studying something unusual, something called void echoes. They described them as faint energy signatures from outside normal space. A kind of cosmic noise that did not belong to any known region of the galaxy. The humans wrote that these echoes were growing stronger. And then the reports stopped completely. Another analyst pulled up historical records from when humans still traded with other species. In one, a human scientist briefly mentioned deep space distortions. In another, a human explorer noted shadows moving in regions where there should be no light. Everyone had dismissed these notes as human imagination. Humans were known for dramatic stories, after all. But now those stories felt like warnings. Meanwhile, back in the council chamber, the debates continued. Tempers rose. Fear spread. The reptilian delegate Varric shouted across the chamber, "We must prepare our fleets. We cannot trust humans. They hide too much." The Felran scholar replied calmly, "Or maybe they hide because they fear something greater than us." Another delegate added, "Or maybe they fear we will panic if we know the truth." This idea made the room fall silent again. Panic was spreading already. In a quiet corner of the chamber, two young delegates studied the image of the Titan warship. One of them, a bird-like Olaran named Kess, asked softly, "Why build something that large? Why hide it? Why not warn the council?" Her companion, a scale-plated Zurian, answered, "Because maybe they knew we would not listen." Kess frowned. "Do you think humans believe they are alone against this unknown thing?" "Yes," the Zurian replied. "And maybe they have been preparing alone for centuries." Far away, on the edge of human territory, new deep scanners captured strange distortions in space. They looked like small tears, thin cracks in reality. The scanners couldn't identify the source. They couldn't measure the depth. All they detected was a repeating pulse pattern, like a heartbeat coming from another universe. The pulse grew stronger every hour. When the data arrived at the council chamber, panic spread again. The pulse pattern matched the void echoes humans had studied centuries ago. Something was coming. Something humans expected. Something humans built Titan warships for. Director Ryla was called to the chamber and presented her findings. Her voice remained steady, but her eyes showed fear. "We believe humans discovered an unknown entity or force outside known space. They closed their borders and began preparing in silence. They built warships alone, not to attack us, but to face something they did not want us to fear." Council members sat without speaking. Many had mocked humanity for years. Many called them weak. Now the truth felt heavy. Humans were not weak. They were preparing for war. A war the rest of the galaxy did not even know existed. Orlek finally stood and spoke in a low voice. If humans built a Titan-class vessel for defense, then whatever they built it for may be powerful enough to destroy us all. The lights in the chamber flickered. A small tremor shook the floor. A messenger ran inside, breathless. Chairman! Another report from the border. A large tear has opened near human space. It is growing. And something huge is starting to come through. The image of the Titan warship on the screen suddenly felt less like a mystery, and more like a last hope. The Galactic Council did not waste time after the latest report. The moment they heard that a tear had opened near human space, an emergency order was sent to send a diplomatic ship. Fast, cautious, and ready for danger. They chose a neutral ambassador vessel, the Serenlight, known for peaceful missions. Its crew included 6 species and one purpose: find the humans, talk to them, and understand what was happening before the unknown force arrived in full. The Serenlight left the Council world only minutes after the order, rushing toward human borders. As the ship traveled, the crew watched the same footage from Varex 12 again and again, trying to understand the scale of the Titan warship. Every time they saw the silent giant turning, every time they heard the cold warning, "Do not approach," their fear grew. Ambassador Terrell, a calm, silver-skinned Vren, studied the recordings the longest. He whispered quietly, "Humans warned us away. Not because they hate us. Because they fear what is coming." His assistant, a nervous young Sarek named Mirka, shifted uneasily. "But Ambassador, what if the humans don't want to talk? What if they see us as a threat?" Terrell shook his head. "If they saw us as a threat, they would not warn us. They would destroy us." Mirka didn't respond. She kept staring at the Titan ship on the screen. It was too large, too silent, too full of secrets. No one knew what it could really do. As the Serenlight passed the final border beacon, something unusual happened. Human territory had always been quiet, with no signals, no broadcasts, no patrols. But today, the ship received a message. A single line of text. "Turn back. This zone is restricted." The ambassador felt his heart pound. So they are watching us. Mirka hesitated. "Should we turn back, Ambassador?" "No," Terrell said firmly. "We come in peace. And someone must speak with them." The ship continued forward. Minutes later, the stars in front of them changed. A massive shape appeared, as if forming out of the darkness itself. The Titan-class warship. Larger than before. Closer. Its surface showed more details now. Armor like mountain stone, glowing scars where weapons had once struck, and strange symbols etched along its hull, symbols that looked alien, not human. The Serenlight slowed down at once. No one wanted to get closer than they had to. The Titan ship moved, only slightly, but that alone was enough to make everyone inside freeze. It was like a mountain deciding to shift a little to stretch its limbs. Ambassador Terrell stood at the front window in awe. They built this alone, for centuries. Suddenly, the Titan ship sent out a short-range pulse. Not a weapon. A scan. A deep scan that felt like cold fingers passing through every system of the Serenlight. Lights flickered, engines dimmed, and even the crew felt a strange pressure in their chests. Then a message came through. A voice. Human. Calm, heavy, and emotionless. "State your purpose." Terrell straightened himself. "This is Ambassador Terrell of the Galactic Council. We request peaceful communication." A long silence followed. Mirka whispered, "Do you think they will answer?" Finally, the voice returned. "Dock at Port Gate 7. Follow the exact path shown. Do not deviate." A flight path appeared on the screen immediately. It was tight, narrow, and required perfect precision. The pilot, a 4-armed Corvian, swallowed hard. "If we miss even a little, we will hit the hull." "And if we hit the hull," Mirka said softly, "we will explode." The pilot took a deep breath and followed the path. Every crew member held on to something, barely breathing as the tiny ship moved alongside the giant vessel. The scale difference was unreal, like a leaf flying next to a continent. Finally, the sarin light connected to the docking gate. The corridor sealed with a metallic thud. Ambassador Terrell walked forward first, his voice steady. "We will go together. Stay calm. Let them lead." The airlock opened. Inside stood humans. Not many, only 6, but they looked nothing like the quiet explorers the galaxy remembered. These humans wore heavy black armor with glowing lines across the chest plates. Their helmets were angular, built for harsh environments. And each carried a weapon that hummed with an energy the aliens had never seen. The lead human stepped forward. "Welcome aboard the Titan-class warship Helios Prime." The aliens exchanged looks. So the ship had a name. Terrell bowed respectfully. "Thank you for agreeing to meet with us." The human leader removed his helmet. His face was calm, serious, and older than expected. "I am Commander Hale. Follow me. The Council wants answers, and we will give them. But you must understand something." He paused. "No one is ready for what is coming." His voice did not tremble. That made the words even more frightening. They followed him into the ship. The corridors were wide and metallic, filled with a low hum from deep inside the structure. Strange, glowing panels pulsed along the walls, showing energy readings and unknown symbols. The deeper they went, the more they sensed the purpose of this warship. It was not built for travel. Not for exploration. It was built as a fortress. Finally, they reached a command hall. Screens showed dark space outside, and a massive tear forming far beyond human territory. A swirling break in reality, glowing with cold white light. Mirka whispered, What is that?" Commander Hale answered without looking away. "That is why we built this ship." The tear grew larger on the screen. Something enormous began to move behind it. "An invasion," Hale said quietly. "From outside our universe." The aliens felt the same cold truth. This was only the beginning. The command hall of Helios Prime felt colder as the tear on the main screen widened. It pulsed with a strange white glow, like a wound in the fabric of space. Shadows moved behind it. Unclear, massive, shifting like something alive but not shaped like any creature known in the galaxy. The alien ambassadors stared in silence, their fear rising with every second. Commander Hale stood with his hands behind his back, calm in a way that made his confidence more frightening. "You are here because your council needs the truth," he said quietly. "But truth is not easy, and it is not kind." Ambassador Terrell nodded, though his throat had gone dry. "We came to understand. Please, tell us everything." Hale turned away from the screen and signaled to an officer. Lights dimmed in the hall. The screen changed to a map, old star charts, old signals, old warnings. Then Hale spoke. 312 years ago, humanity detected the first void echo. A whisper in our sensors. A pulse that did not match any known pattern. Weak, but impossible to ignore. Another officer changed the screen. Now it showed strange energy spikes, small cracks in dark regions of space, all near human territory. "We investigated," Hale continued. "What we found terrified us." Mirka shivered. "What did you find?" Hale took a slow breath. "We found something trying to enter our universe. Something large. Something powerful. Something patient." The screen shifted to show an enormous silhouette, only partly detected, hidden behind distortions. It looked like a creature made of smoke and metal, with too many limbs, too many eyes. The ambassadors gasped. Even the image felt heavy. Juro, the Sarek assistant, whispered, "That thing is alive?" Hale nodded. "Yes. And it was not alone. More silhouettes appeared behind it. Hundreds. Maybe thousands. All waiting beyond the tear like predators watching from behind a thin window." Ambassador Terrell stepped forward. "Why did you not tell the Council? Why hide this for centuries?" Hale studied him carefully. We did not hide it to harm you. We hid it because we knew what would happen if we spoke too soon. Panic. Collapse. Species turning on each other. The galaxy was not ready. He paused. And to be honest, humanity was not ready either. The screen changed again, now showing early human research stations, damaged, broken by unknown forces. Some showed shattered hulls with no signs of life. Others had strange scars, like burns made by energy no one understood. We lost many in the early years, Hale said softly. Explorers, scientists, soldiers. Entire stations vanished. We realized we had less than 4 centuries to prepare. Ambassador Terrell swallowed. Prepare for what? To defend the galaxy, Hale replied. With or without your help. The words echoed in the room. Humans had fought alone, suffered alone, built their defenses alone. All while the rest of the galaxy believed they were peaceful, quiet, unimportant. Terrell felt shame tighten in his chest. Commander Hale continued walking, motioning them to follow. Come. There is more you must see. They moved deeper into the ship. The halls grew darker, thicker armored, more silent. Then they reached a heavy door. Hale pressed his palm to a scanner. The door opened with a deep metallic groan. Inside was a massive room filled with armored human soldiers. Rows of them. Dozens. Hundreds. Standing completely still, like statues. Their armor was heavier than the soldiers who met the ambassadors at the dock. Their helmets covered their faces completely. Their weapons were larger, humming softly with power. Mirka stepped back in fear. Are they alive? Yes, Hale said. They are the Titan Guard, humanity's last defense unit. Ambassador Terrell stared in disbelief. Why are they all here? Why so many? Hale looked at the tear on a nearby screen, a live feed showing the distortion growing larger by the hour. Because when the breach opens fully, the first battle will be here. The ambassadors exchanged looks of dread. Hale walked between the rows of soldiers. We cannot fight this alone. Not anymore. The breach is growing too fast. The enemy is pushing harder than expected. Terrell stepped toward him. Then you need help. You need the council. Hale stopped walking. For the first time, he looked unsure. Yes. We do. But your council is divided. Some see us as a threat. Some still think we built this ship for domination. Mirka whispered. They don't understand. No, Hale agreed. They don't. They do not understand what we face. He pressed another panel. The room shook slightly as more alarms activated, low, warning tones. The breach had grown by another kilometer. Terrell felt fear spread through him. Commander, how long until it opens completely? Hale looked at the readings. Less than 1 standard day. The room felt colder. Terrell spoke urgently. We must return to the council. They must hear this. They must see this. Hale nodded. We will give you full recordings, including classified data. But remember this, when the breach opens, the enemy will not attack humanity alone. They will attack everything. Every species. Every world. The galaxy will stand together, or fall together. He looked at the Titan soldiers once more. And we are out of time. As the ambassadors prepared to leave, the tear outside pulsed again. Brighter, stronger, closer. Something on the other side pressed its claws against the thin layer of reality. The Helios Prime shook. The invasion had already begun. The ambassadors hurried back through the long metallic corridors of Helios Prime, carrying heavy data packs filled with recordings, sensor logs, and the truth humanity had hidden for centuries. The alarms in the ship continued to pulse in low, warning tones. Each vibration reminded them of the growing tier outside, of the massive shapes pressing against the thin barrier of reality. Commander Hale walked with them to the docking gate. His expression stayed calm, but the tension in his voice betrayed something deeper. Humans were afraid too, even if they hid it well. Ambassador Terrell turned to him before entering the boarding corridor. "We will take this to the council. They will listen. They must." Hale nodded. "I hope so. Because the next time we speak, the war may already have begun." The gate sealed behind them, and the Saren light detached from the Titan warship. As it drifted away, the aliens saw Helios Prime in full view once again. Massive, scarred, but ready. Its engines glowed like fire trapped inside metal. The ship felt alive, like a sleeping dragon guarding the edge of the galaxy. Mirka whispered, "How did humans build something so huge without anyone knowing?" No one answered. It was a question that no longer mattered. What mattered now was survival. The Saren light jumped into faster-than-light travel. The stars stretched into bright lines. The crew held their breath. They needed to reach the council as fast as possible. Every minute wasted meant the tear grew larger, the enemy stronger. Halfway through the journey, the ship trembled suddenly. The Corvian pilot shouted, "Gravitational disruption, behind us." The ambassadors rushed to the windows. Far behind them, space twisted violently. It looked like someone had grabbed the stars and pulled them into a spiral. The tear was growing faster, much faster than it should. Ambassador Terrell steadied himself. Commander Hale was right. There is no time. The Saren light pushed its engines to the limit. Hours later, they finally entered council space. The moment they arrived, dozens of patrol ships surrounded them, demanding identification. The pilot sent the clearance codes. When the council recognized who they were, and where they had come from, the ships pulled aside instantly. The ambassadors were rushed into the council chamber. Inside, chaos reigned. Dozens of species were arguing loudly. Fear spread like wildfire. Reports of strange readings in deep space, pulses in dark regions, unexplained energy spikes, everywhere at the edges of multiple territories. Chairman Orlek struggled to keep order. "Silence. We will hear the ambassadors first." The chamber quieted only slightly as Ambassador Terrell stepped forward. His face looked pale from the journey and the truth he carried. "We met the humans," he began. "We boarded their Titan ship. And we know what they have been preparing for." He activated the data pack. The giant screen lit up. First came the footage of the tear, larger now, glowing white with massive shadows behind it. The chamber gasped. Then came humanity's recordings, void echoes, early warnings, destroyed research stations, creature silhouettes from beyond the universe. Each image shattered the council's confidence a little more. Some delegates covered their eyes. Others leaned forward in horror. The reptilian Varric slammed the table. "Impossible! These creatures cannot exist." Terrell answered sharply. "They do exist. We saw them. The humans have been fighting them alone, preparing for centuries. While we looked away." The chamber erupted into shouting again. "Why didn't humans tell us? They planned to attack. They knew something terrible. And we ignored the signs." Terrell raised his voice. "Silence. Listen to me." His voice echoed through the hall until the arguing stopped. Humans built the Titan warship because they knew this enemy would come. Not to fight us. Not to conquer. But to defend the galaxy from something none of us understand. He pressed another button. Commander Hale appeared as a hologram, speaking directly. "If you are seeing this, the breach is close to full opening. We estimate less than a standard day. When it opens, they will enter your space. All of it." The council chamber fell completely silent. Hale continued, "Humanity cannot face this alone. Not anymore. We need the council. We need unity. Every species, every fleet, every world. The enemy will not negotiate. It will not stop. It will consume." The hologram faded. The silence grew heavier. Chairman Orlek lowered his head. "We were blind." A small, trembling voice from the back spoke. "What do we do now?" Another delegate added, "Do we fight, or do we run?" Terrell answered with steady resolve. "We fight. Together." Before the council could respond, another messenger ran into the chamber. His face was pale. His voice shook. "Chairman! A live feed from the border. You need to see this." The screen switched again. The tear had doubled in size. And this time, a gigantic limb, dark, metallic, and covered in glowing veins, was pushing through. Then another limb. Then a head. The council watched in horror as the first creature of the void fully entered their universe. Screams filled the edges of the chamber. One phrase echoed across every speaker, coming from human space. "All forces, prepare for engagement." The war had begun. The galaxy shook as the first void creature pulled itself through the tear. Its body was enormous, larger than most cities, made of dark matter twisted with glowing white veins. Every movement of the creature caused space to ripple like water. It let out a soundless scream, a vibration that everyone felt inside their bones. Across the council chamber, fear froze every species. Some delegates collapsed to their knees. Others stepped back, trembling, unable to look at the creature on the screen. Ambassador Terrell whispered, "The humans were right. We should have prepared sooner." Chairman Orlek gave the order with a shaking voice. "Send every fleet. Every ship we have. We stand together." The council signals spread outward instantly. Across thousands of worlds, fleets activated. Engines roared to life. Old warships were pulled out of storage. Defense grids powered up. Citizens rushed into shelters. And deep in human space, the Titan-class warship Helios Prime came alive. Inside the command deck, humans moved with quick, precise steps. Commander Hale stood at the center display, watching the tier grow and the creature move. A young officer shouted, "Sir, the council fleets are mobilizing. They are coming to assist." Hale gave a small nod. "Let's hope they reach us in time." Human ships formed lines across the front. Their weapons glowed white-hot. The space around them trembled with energy. The first creature roared silently again and charged toward the nearest human station. It moved impossibly fast for its size. Dark tendrils shot out, tearing through metal like paper. "Open fire," Hale commanded. Beams of pure plasma shot across space, lighting up the darkness like miniature suns. Human missiles flew in clusters, leaving blue trails. The Titan's main cannon fired a blast strong enough to crack a moon. The creature staggered but did not fall. It screamed again, and a pulse of energy blasted through the battlefield. Smaller ships were thrown aside like toys. Then the tear ripped even wider. More creatures pushed through. 3, 5, 9. The battlefield became chaos. Space twisted under the weight of the monsters. Explosions lit the void. Human ships fought desperately, forming defensive lines around the Titan. The council fleets arrived a few minutes later, but the battlefield was already drowning in darkness. Ambassador Terrell watched from the bridge of the Serenlight, which had joined the council armada. "Stay in formation. Support humanity's lines. Do not break." Alien warships fired beams of every color. Some used energy nets that glowed purple. Others fired sonic charges that distorted the creature's shapes. For the first time in history, every species fought together. Commander Hale's voice came through the channel. "Council ships, your timing is perfect. Link your targeting systems with ours. We will strike as one." For a moment, unity formed. Humans and aliens synced their weapons. Target markers aligned across the battlefield. The Titan powered its main cannon again, but this time it was supported by hundreds of other ships. "Fire!" Hale shouted. A massive blast tore through the void. The combined attack struck the largest creature directly in the chest. Its body cracked like glass. A second later, it shattered into bright white fragments that faded into nothing. the fleets cheered. But the victory was short. The tear pulsed violently. A shockwave expanded outward. Every ship shook. Ambassador Merca gasped. Something else is coming through. The tear twisted into a spiral. Light bent around it. Gravity warped so violently that distant stars curved in strange arcs. A colossal shadow moved behind the barrier. Much larger than the others. Much older. Commander Hale stared at the sensors. His voice went cold. That is not a creature. That is something else. The shadow stepped closer. The battlefield fell silent. Ships stopped firing. Even the void creatures stopped moving, as if bowing. A giant humanoid figure emerged, made of black stone and burning lines of white energy. Its eyes were two voids, deeper than space itself. Ambassador Terrell whispered, What is that?" Hale answered quietly, "A leader, or a god." The being raised its arm. Space cracked like glass. Hundreds of ships were thrown backward by invisible force. The Titan itself groaned, metal bending under the pressure. Alarms screamed through the Helios Prime bridge. "We cannot withstand this," an officer cried. Hale braced himself against the console. "Divert all power to shields. Hold the line." The being looked down at the fleets, as if judging them. Then its voice echoed, not through sound, but directly inside every mind. "You stand in the wrong universe." Millions across the galaxy screamed as the voice hit them like a hammer. The being raised its arm again. But suddenly, the Titan's engines roared hotter than ever. Light poured from its main cannon. The ship shook as if it might tear itself apart. Hale shouted, "All fleets, fall back. This shot could destabilize the tear." Ambassador Terrell yelled across the battle channel, "Humans, don't fire. You will destroy yourselves." Hale responded calmly, "Yes. But if we don't, you all die." The Titan cannon reached maximum power. The giant void being turned its head toward Helios Prime, as if curious. Hale closed his eyes. For humanity. For all life. He gave the final order. Fire. A blinding white beam exploded from the Titan's core. The entire battlefield vanished in light. The tear collapsed in on itself. Silence followed. When the light faded, the Titan warship was gone. The void creatures were gone. The giant being was gone. And the battlefield was empty. The council fleets floated in shock, unable to speak. Humanity had sacrificed its greatest ship, and thousands of lives, to close the tear and save the galaxy. Ambassador Terrell lowered his head. "They saved us all, even when we doubted them." Across the galaxy, a new message appeared on every screen, sent from Earth. "We are still here. And we will be ready, if the void ever returns." Humanity had shown its first Titan, and the galaxy would never forget.